going to do a spotlight survey tonight. And what we're going to do there is we've got about a 7-8 mile line, and we're going to stop where we're counting deer starting an hour after dark.
There, I can see him way out there. Oh, that's a good buck.
I think that's Rick coming. Got Jim all set up here to getting ready to fish that pond.
Welcome to A Sportsman's Life. We're so glad you tuned in to join us for another exciting real-world outdoor adventure right here on A Sportsman's Life.
Hi friends, I want you to jump in the pickup with me and let's go on a deer survey. I wish you were here where you could do this with me. We're going to head over to Kaufman County to the Becker Ranch. Now Larry Weissoon, who's obviously everybody knows Larry, he's a famous media person, but he's also one heck of a wildlife biologist. We're going to join Larry and my friends Edgar Cotton and his son David Cotton, and we're going to do a deer survey. Now this is for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Program, a managed land permit. It's a deer count, and I've actually never done a deer count any way other than help people with a spotlight. Let me show you what we're going to use. This right here is an AGM Global Spotter, a thermal. This is going to make this operation a whole lot easier, I'm sure. We'll spot those deer that's back in the brush, and then we can identify more of them. I'm also going to do something a little bit different. If you notice and you look real close, the bolt is out of this Mossberg patrol rifle. This is an AGM Global Vision thermal scope, an adder. So we're going to use this and also use that AGM Global Vision spotter. I think this is a Taipan. It's called a Taipan. And we're going to go on a deer survey. So let's get over to Kaufman County. The guys are standing by, I'm sure, Larry and Edgar and David, and we're going to jump in the buggy, and I'm going to try to actually film some of the deer that we see through this and show it to you. But for now, let's jump in the truck and go join Edgar and Larry and David over in Kaufman County. What do you say? Well, folks, it's your old buddy Luke, and I did make it down here to the Becker Ranch. I'm going to be the commentator, but Mr. Weissoon is right here with chock full of information with David, and I think we're going to talk about what we're going to do tonight. Right, Larry?
Look, it's the fall, and we're trying to get all the data that we can relative to the deer population here on the Cotton Ranch for a special permit. It's called the Managed Land Permit, a Managed Deer Permit, if you will, and Managed Land Deer Permit. And so we need to get some ideas in terms of what the deer total density is, as far as the total number of deer. And what we're doing to do that, we're going to do a spotlight survey tonight, and what we're going to do there is we've got about a 7-8 mile line, and we're going to stop where we're counting deer starting an hour after dark, and we're going to count all the deer that we see, but we're going to stop every 1/10 of a mile and take a reading to the left and to the right. Being an old surveyor, you get a pretty good idea of what we're going to try to do is try to come up with an acreage figure, so we'll have an idea as to what the total length of the line is. We'll have an idea what the average width is. And it just so happens there's 1,760 yards in a mile, and there's so you multiply that times the number of miles times the average width, and then you divide that by 48,480 square yards per mile. So that will give us an idea as to what the acreage is that we're looking at, and then from that we'll be able to pull what we see in terms of bucks, does, fawns, all that kind of thing. But this is not the only time we're going to run it. We're going to run this line again sometime in the very near future again too, because there's sometimes, this may be the night where everything just lays down and nothing looks at us. Right. So basically what we're going to try to do is get as good a count as we can. We'll establish this line, and then we'll come back here again probably in about 2-3 weeks, something like that, and do it again. But beyond all that too, we record everything we see, of course, and then beyond that too, y'all guys are taking a lot of the incidental observations as well, to where anytime they're on the property, they're going to record the number of bucks, does, fawns that they see, and from that we'll get a pretty good idea of what our buck-doe ratio is, and also what our fawn survival rate is. So, and then we can even classify those bucks according to antler size or according to whether we think they're immature or mature. Kind of.
Right. Larry, when all is said and done, when all your data is in, that will go into the state, I guess, and they'll determine the number of does and the number of bucks to take, and then permits will be issued, right?
Exactly. With the managed land permit thing, it's interesting in that it's a wildlife management program, and it takes into consideration several things, including the habitat work y'all are doing here, the feeding, water, all those kind of things will play into the total number of bucks that are recommended, and total number of does that are recommended. But without that data, we won't have an idea as to what's here, kind of thing. And so basically, hopefully we'll have a bunch of deer moving tonight, you know, compared to what's here, and we'll get a good count. It is 106, so they may be lazy like I am, you know, and they may not be moving a whole lot, but we'll get out here in just a little bit. Like I said, we'll start this thing about an hour after good solid dark, to where those deer's eyes will shine, and then we'll take a binocs with us and try to get an idea whether they're bucks, does, or fawns, and then too, we'll take the readings as we go to come up with an acreage figure.
Brought to you by Dallas Safari Club, Conservation, Education, and Hunter Advocacy. Hornaday, accurate, deadly, dependable. Taurus Firearms, maker of the Raging Hunter. Trigicon, brilliant aiming solutions.
Well, Larry, the sun has set, buddy. I think it's time to head out. What do you think?
Well, we started this about an hour after official sunset, so we're in good shape. Hopefully we can see something. It is still probably temperature-wise 127.
It is.
And
well,
standing by the fire that we just cooked some absolutely great supper over, it feels like 172. So let's get.
Let's go get them.
Get out of here. Can you see it?
Yeah, Larry, we spotted several deer so far.
You know, we have, but we're in some really thick cover right in here as well too. But the area that we're in, right in here, if you look to my left, see this green moss that's kind of growing here? It's very unique for this one little area. There's probably maybe 10, 15, maybe, I don't know if that was probably about 4 or 5 acres.
Yeah.
Where we found it here on this property.
And deer eat this.
Yeah, they'll eat it, absolutely.
And it's not Spanish moss. It's got another.
No. It's, I'm not sure which one it is. It's almost like a, it's much finer in terms of the, whatever the leaves or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's unique to this little area right here. I've seen it a few other places in East Texas, but very few. But deer do eat the daylights out of it.
I guess there's minerals or whatever in there that they need.
It probably is. There's probably something in there that they want or like.
Just something else you'll see on a nighttime spotlight survey, right, Larry?
You always got to be looking.
Well, let's head forward. What do you say?
Yeah, let's move on, sir.
Whoa! Back up about 20 feet. Good. Be real still, we'll get him. All right, Larry, there's a good looking deer.
Looks like he got some match.
Yes, he does. Yep. This AGM Global Vision is coming in handy for the deer survey. Oh yeah, you can see those horns are good right there. Yep. Pretty deer. Maybe we'll see you in late October, buddy. He's looking ahead, looking forward. Head down now. Now he's walking. Yep. Yep. Okay, boys. That's one more. Another one is going to be there he comes.
No, there were three more deer on the left. I think there were 3 bucks and 3 unidentified.
There, I can see him way out there. Oh, that's a good buck.
There's one good buck in there. That's the 3rd buck.
I got him on the video, yeah.
Perfect.
He stopped right behind the... Okay, folks, we're There was how many in that bunch, Larry? About 5 or
There were 6 deer.
6 deer, and then we just got the thermal on that one good one that you saw right there,
Yeah, there were
folks.
2 bucks that went for sure to the right.
Okay.
And one of those was a really good buck as well too.
Well, it started out hot, it ended up hot. I'm sweating right now. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but it's got to be in the high 80s somewhere. All things considered, I think we saw 14 deer. And looking at no more country that we could see, and there are a lot of times where the average width that we're looking at was maybe 10 or 15 yards kind of thing.
Right.
So it's going to be a pretty high density. Now, we didn't hardly see any does.
Right.
So, but we saw some really nice bucks too. What we'll do is we'll try to run all this thing again tomorrow night. I'll figure out what the acreage was, and we'll come up from that with some other things. But the deer that we saw were in really good shape. And there were 1 or 2 pretty good bucks that we looked at. There's one that I'll tell you what, looked like he was that one bunch that we saw where there were several that went to the right. He ran with his head down and he looked pretty good. So we'll look at these figures and get all these to Taylor and get the permit going and all that kind of good stuff. So and try to do one more tomorrow night, and then we'll do one a little bit later as well too, with what we're seeing here and what we'll see tomorrow as well too. I think I'm pleased. I'm pleased with what we saw. Well, thank y'all so very much for joining us tonight on Sportsman's Life. We got Mr. Edgar and Mr. David Cotton and some special friends as well too that helped us run the spotlight line tonight. And that's all part of the game plan. You need to do those kind of things to get ideas to what your density is, what your buck-doe ratio is, and your fawn survival rate. We'll throw all that mixture together and we'll come up with an idea as to the number of bucks, number of does need to be taken off this property. But join us right back here next week on Sportsman's Life, and there's no telling where we'll be.
Sportsman's Life is also brought to you by the YO Steakhouse, Catch and Release Apparel, AGM Global Vision, H3 Whitetail Solutions, and Pyramid Air.
Sportsman Life tip: when you're ripping these slabs in the summer for these striped bass, make sure and keep them moving real fast, whether it's on the way up or the way down. You want to make sure it's speed and aggression. Don't let the fish see that it's just a lead slab with a hook on it. Make them chase it down and catch it. Be prepared for strikes on the fall. There's one right there.
I think that's Rick coming. Got Jim all set up here to getting ready to fish that pond. Isn't that pretty?
Nobody's had a hook in there over 100 years.
I don't think anybody has, Jim.
Catch big crawdads, you gotta open it more with some wire cutters.
Really?
Yeah. I buy them. They're interchangeable. A minnow trap is and a crawfish trap are the same except for the size of the opening. But some crawfish I catch are literally 7 inches long.
That's little lobsters.
7 inches long.
Yes, sir. I got pictures of them. Little guy.
Jim Zumbo over here catching bluegills, feeding little natric snakes. True humanitarian.
That's right. Oh, get that, Gary.
Good picture there.
Nature at work. Jim just caught this fish just a second ago and tried to release it into the water, but unfortunately for the little fish, a natrix water snake was there to catch it. Whoop. Lucky fish.
Folks, this segment was brought to us by Gearhead Archery, Smoke Intex Electric Smokers, Snaplock Hunting Blinds, YO Ranch Headquarters, Ultramatic Feeders, and Catfish Pro. Tune in next week for some more real-world outdoor adventures right here on A Sportsman's Life.